Hi guys, this is Max from Show Jigging Diaries, and today I want to show you how to fill your spinning reel with braid. In the last days I got a new reel. In this case it's a Certate 3500H. It's the old model 2016. As you can see, it's empty, there's no braid on, and I'm going to show you my way of spooling that reel. To spool the reel I bought a new braid. It's the new Owner braid called Kizuna. It's a 8 braid, very smooth, it's very strong and it's round, so I like it a lot. I chose a PE size 1.5 and I'm going to show you how to spool that properly. Now let's start. We have the empty spool, we have our new braid. What else do we need? For sure we need the monofilament, which will act like a basement layer. You will need a second person, could be a friend or fishing buddy or family member, no matter what. And you need a cooking spoon or a stick or something you put through the monofilament spool or the braided spool. In my case I use a drilling machine, which makes it very easy, the process of taking the braid off the reel, because you have to do that 2 times. You need some standard tape, you need something to cut monofilament and braid, in my case braid scissors from Owner. For sure you need a drill, and you need something to protect the hands of the second person. So in my case I took some cheap towels, or you can take gloves or whatever. And the last thing, you need the down part of a rod, because you will attach your reel and you will bring the braid and the monofilament through the first guide. The problem with the spinning reel is that the braid capacity is much higher than my braid, which is on the spool here. So I have 270 meters here and a much higher capacity here. And because I want to have that reel full until the edge, I have to make a basement below. Now I will put all the braid on the spool, and then I will fill up with the monofilament until the edge. Okay, let's start. And what is important now is to go with your tag end through the first guide. Open the bail arm of your reel. I take some of my tape, just a tiny piece, and I will now tape the tag end of my braid on the reel. Now I will set the drag like somehow as tight as I want to fish later on. So I make it a bit tighter to apply some tension on the line when I fill it. Okay? So now I need my second person. Now I'm passing the stuff to the second person. The cooking spoon and the braid. Okay, and what she's doing now is, because she has to apply some pressure on the spool of the braid, she needs the towels to protect the hands, because the spool will turn fast later on. If I start winding, heat is generated. It's necessary to protect it. Okay, I do now some like easy turns, and then we start with the pressure. A bit more, please. Yes, a bit more. Okay, perfect. And as I told you, I will now like put the spool, the completely braid on the reel. Okay, now we're coming to an end, and as you can see, the spool is not filled until the edge, and we fill this gap now with a monofilament. So what I do now is I reel it completely on the spool, and I will secure it with another piece of tape. Okay, it's like that now, and the gap will be filled now with the monofilament. Now again through the last guide, and open the bail arm. Can be a small one, and tape the tag end of the monofilament on top of the braid. So I make always like 2 or 3 like soft turns just to secure it. And now I will pass the spool to my girlfriend. Great. And we start that process all over again with the same pressure as before. Just a bit more, yes, it's no, a bit less, yes, it's perfect. A bit more, yes, perfect. And now until the edge with the monofilament. Okay, now check the spool. You won't make it too full, because if the spool is if you have too much like line on the spool, it will cause wind knots or other problems. So now it is completely full. Because we put quite some meters on that line, I use the drilling machine to take it off. It's much faster, and I guess everyone has a drilling machine at home. That makes it very convenient. You will know that if you did it before by hand and you put like 300, 400 meters by hand off a spool, it takes a long time and it's very annoying. So I need again my tape, and I need like a classic drill. And what I do now is I'm applying a layer of tape on my drill. The point is why I'm doing that is because I want to fit that hole, and I filled already up the drill with tape, and you see now like it's fitting perfectly, you know. So it's not too tight and it's not too loose, so it will stick on that. So drilling machine, drill inside, I close it just a bit on top, so I can take all the monofilament which is now on top of the reel off. Okay, that was the end. So I have now all my exact measured base layer on the spool again, and I do the same now with the braided line. A piece of tape. I tape the tag end to the spool and I place it on top. You see it's not moving, and that's perfect. And off it goes. Okay, now my braid is back on the spool. Also my perfect measured basement layer is here, and what I do now is make that process again, but now starting with a measured basement layer and then the braid on top. Now it's the part with the knots. I take my monofilament, pass it again through the top guide, open the bail arm, and what I now do is I make a simple uni knot to attach the line to the reel. I think it is perfect for that job. It's enough because if that knot is seeing some light or some fresh air, it's anyway too late, and so it don't have to hold anything. So it's just for fixing the line to the spool. But if you have other ideas how to do it, or if you have better knots to use, just leave it in the comments. And because I think that's the good thing in fishing, you never know everything and you can always learn. Again, the second person, like I told you before, I want to apply some pressure while spooling this reel, and we start again. Okay, perfect. A bit more, tiny bit more. Yes, thank you very much. That's perfect. My girlfriend is helping me here out, but as I mentioned before, it can be anyone because that job is very easy. Even your grandma can do it. Okay, as you just saw, the measured basement layer monofilament came to an end, and what I do now is I'm attaching it to the Kizuna, and again I'm using for that knot the uni knot, but in this case it's the double uni knot. It's a very easy knot and very helpful. Okay, now I'm pulling these knots together. Oh. So before you make the knots, make sure the bail arm was open before, or it's now going through the bail arm and the guide. Okay, now pressure, and the line is on. Okay, a bit more pressure, little bit. Yes, that feels right. It gets kind of exhausting. There is some pressure on and you're never like reeling like nearly 300 meters without any break. So it's not like fighting a fish. It's much more exhausting in my opinion. But as I can see, we're coming to an end. The reel is nearly full until the edge. Okay. That's it. Wow. Now it is done. As you can see, the reel is perfectly filled up with braid. In this case, as I told you before, it's Kizuna. and I think it's a very nice braid. I think my girlfriend did a very good job in helping me. And yes, if you have any questions or if you have any ideas how to make that process more efficient or easier, or if you want to tell me how do you do that, don't hesitate, write comments or write your questions down. I will do my best to answer them. If you want more of these kinds of like little tutorials, just write me, leave me a comment, and if you liked what you just saw, thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel.